So, remember Shrek 2? Specifically, the time human Shrek and his friends were racing against time to save Fiona from kissing who she thought was Shrek, but was really Prince Charming, attempting to turn her human forever? Yeah, me too, but what's bothering me is, how did Shrek's friends break him out of the dungeon, make the journey from there to the ball, bake the giant gingerbread Mongo, and make Fiona realize she was being tricked all in the nick of time? Makes no sense that they could get there in time, so how did they? And no, I will not take Dreamwork's magic as an answer, as it wouldn't apply for everyone in this case.
Shrek? Donkey? Too late.
For context, the trip to Far Far Away from Shrek Swamp is roughly 700 miles, and they went the whole trip in a 2-horse-drawn onion carriage. A normal 2-horse-drawn carriage travels at 4 miles per hour. Now, giving myself a tough time, horses that travel like that need roughly 5 to 7 hours of sleep for every 24 hours. And I'll assume Shrek isn't cruel enough to not let a horse sleep when it needs to do so. Now, giving myself that info, the horses pull Shrek's carriage 13 to 15 hours a day at 4 miles an hour. They'd be traveling 52 to 60 miles per day. This gives them at least an 11-day trip, with the latest they'd arrive being 13 days. Now, a person who needs sleep, breaks, and other stops can walk 20 miles in a single day if they're physically trained, and I'll give the Pinocchio and Gingy the physically fit standard, considering they aren't human, but they do sleep and they do tire out. I'll let them carry the 3 blind mice for this, because they're not terrible people. Now, at 20 miles a day, which is the average, it would take them 35 days to arrive at Far Far Away, a month and 3 or 4 days too late. But Shagamers! No, shut up. I'm not giving them any more or less than the average speed. Well, some of you may have already said, "Duh, Shagamers, they flew on Dragon." And to that I say, shut up. If those fuckers flew on Dragon, it still would have taken 4 hours, assuming she flies as fast as an airplane, which she doesn't, otherwise a gingerbread man, a puppet, 3 pigs, and 3 blind mice would have been blasted off her back before she even got a mile away from Shrek's swamp. And even further, how would they get to Dragon in time for them to travel too far, far away, considering we don't know where she is in the first place? Not to mention, if she brought them there, why didn't we see her during the invasion? I'm certain if she knew the love of her life was being wrongly held in prison like she was, she'd have done something pretty drastic. Furthermore, in the after-credit scenes, she had her and Donkey's babies shown, implying she was giving birth to them during the final showdown. So David Weiss's excuse for how they got there just makes no sense. Now, following my previous statement, Donkey was turned into a beautiful stallion after drinking the potion, and according to the creators of Shrek, Dragon turned into what Isaac Carlson calls a giant pink mythical Pegasus. She could have flown to Far Far Away as such, but it still would have taken her around the same time, assuming she was going as fast as she would have in her dragon form. But with even less to hold on to, Gingy and Pinocchio would have flown off even sooner than before. Now, if Dragon were there at any point, why would they need Mongo, a giant city-crushing gingerbread man who undoubtedly took hours to make, 6 hours, according to Tumblr user Katsidhe, to bake and cool off? If Dragon were present at the scene, Mongo wouldn't have been needed to be created. Dragon could have just dropped them off near Fairy Godmother and stopped her plan entirely before the party even really started. I'm happy they didn't, of course, otherwise we'd never have gotten the beautiful Holding Out for a Hero rendition. But what do you think? How'd the party manage to save Shrek just in time? Please comment what you think happened. If you enjoyed this little rant of mine, consider subscribing. You'll get to see more of me, likely making a fool out of myself. Bye-bye.